Hi students! So what we're doing this video is we're going to be looking at the sky every hour or 2 hours depending, and we're just going to be looking at the sky and looking at the temperature. So this is 8 o'clock in the morning and this is 8 on an analog clock. The little hand is pointing to the 8 and the big hand is pointing to the 12. 8 o'clock. And you can see it's pretty cloudy and also pretty lively. There's a lot of birds out, it's a beautiful morning, and it's also surprisingly not that cold. This looks like it's about 59 degrees because it's the line right below 60. And here it is again at 9 o'clock, just an hour later. The little hand points to the 9 and the big hand points to the 12. 9 o'clock. And the clouds have already gone away quite a bit. And you can see that the sky looks quite beautiful and quite blue. And here's the sun right behind the clouds, and it's getting a little bit warmer. It's over 60 now. Now it's 2 hours later at 11 a.m. The little hand is pointing to the 11, the big hand is pointing to the 12. 11 o'clock. And the sun is high in the sky, and the clouds have completely gone away, and it's gotten so much hotter. It looks like it's 79 degrees Fahrenheit. I can tell because I see that 80's right there, and then just take away 1, and that's 79. So here it is 2 hours later again at 1 o'clock. The little hand's pointing to the 1, big hand at the 12, 1 o'clock. And the sun has moved again. This time it was directly above my head. There were also no clouds in the sky. I kept looking for one, couldn't see one. And it got just a little bit cooler. Before the thermometer was at that line just below 80, but now it's one line lower. So I'm thinking that because it was at 79 before, that must mean it's at 78. And here we are at 2 o'clock. Little hands at the 2, big hands at the 12, 2 o'clock. And I'm starting to notice a pattern. My hypothesis is that the weather's not going to change much for the rest of the day. The sun will set and there's not going to be very many clouds and no rain, and it's just going to get a little bit cooler. And it's pretty much the same temperature at 78-ish. And now I waited 3 hours. At 5:30, the little hand is pointing right behind the 5 and the big hand's at the 6. So that means it's 5:30. And the sun is much lower. You can see that it's just above the tree where before it was in the sky. And still no clouds. And the temperature is pretty much the same. Looks like my hypothesis might be right. Here it is at 6. The little hand is the hour hand, and it's pointing to 6. So it's 6 o'clock because the big hand is pointing to the 12. Now the sun's behind the tree, no clouds, and the sun fit perfectly between these two trees. It was really pretty. And the temperature is pretty much the same at 78. And here is the sky at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Just before sunset, and as the sun goes down, you see more and more of the shadows of the tree because the light is on the other side. And here is the sky just 30 minutes later at 7:30. The hour hand's pointing just behind the 7, and it's pointing to 6, which means it's 7:30. And you can see even more of the shadows of the tree and even less of the light. And some of the trees that were lit are barely lit anymore. So really pretty, really cool. And it looks like it's gotten a lot cooler, probably now at 70 degrees. And the reason I can tell that is I'm looking at where the red line matches, and that line looks just a little bit longer than all the other ones. So that kind of tells me that it's splitting the middle right between 60 and 80. And what number comes right in between 60 and 80. Well, 60 plus 10 is 70, and 80 take away 10 is also 70. So I think that little line in the middle stands for 70. So the temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's the sky at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. It's getting really dark and you can barely see anything. Still no clouds, and now no sun. And it's just gotten a little bit colder. It looks like it's just below 70 degrees Fahrenheit now. And here it is at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. I can't see anything anymore, so I stopped recording. And you can tell it's gotten just a little bit cooler at 65-ish degrees Fahrenheit. And that was today's weather.